If you've been gardening for a while, you've probably heard endless advice about compost, mulch, and fertilizers. But what if I told you there's an old-school manure trick, almost forgotten in modern gardening, that has the power to wake up soil fungi overnight? Yes, the very fungi that create those magical white strands of life in your soil, the mycelium highways that supercharge plant health. Most gardeners focus on feeding plants, but the secret lies in feeding the soil life beneath, especially the fungi that make everything come alive. Welcome back to Soil Sage Chronicles, where we don't just garden, we awaken the soil. Healthy soil isn't just dirt, it's a living ecosystem where fungi play a master role. These fungi form symbiotic relationships with plant roots, extending their reach deep into the soil. They break down minerals, unlock phosphorus, transport moisture, and even protect plants from disease. But here's the problem. Modern gardening practices starve fungi. Synthetic fertilizers, constant tilling, and even overly hot compost can wipe out fungal networks. If your soil looks dead, dry, and compact, chances are the fungi are asleep or gone. That's where this forgotten manure trick comes in, a technique used by traditional farmers before commercial fertilizers even existed. When we talk about manure, most people think of cow manure, chicken manure, or composted barn waste. But, the manure that has the strongest effect on soil fungi is something else entirely. It's called aged leaf-littered manure. Folks sometimes forget about this, but it's really a forgotten fungal feast. Instead of spreading raw manure or fresh compost, early gardeners used manure that was stored in piles with leaves, straw, and soil, then left to break down slowly under shade. This wasn't just composting, it was fungal cultivation, without them even realizing it. When manure sits in a cool, slightly moist environment mixed with carbon-rich materials like leaf mold or straw fungi, colonize the pile naturally, creating white fungal threads that look like cotton candy woven between the organic matter. This is different from typical hot compost. Hot compost favors bacteria. Cool, oxygen-rich decomposition favors fungi. Here's how to recreate this powerful fungal inoculant in your garden using materials you probably already have. Step 1. Collect manure, but don't use it fresh. Use cow, goat, rabbit, or horse manure, but avoid poultry manure for this trick. It's just too high in nitrogen and harsh on fungi. Step 2. Mix with leaf mold or old straw. To stimulate fungal colonization, mix the manure with leaf litter from under old trees, since this already contains dormant fungal spores. You can also use straw or shredded stalks and a sprinkle of garden soil, especially from an area that already shows fungal life. Step 3. Build the fungal pile. Layer manure and carbon material like lasagna. Make sure it stays moist but not soggy. Think of a wrung-out sponge. Do not cover tightly or heat it up too much. Fungi just don't thrive in sealed hot environments. Step 4. Let it sit in shade. Find a shady corner. Cover lightly with old burlap, cardboard, or just a loose straw cap. Not plastic. Within days, you should start to see white fungal strands spreading throughout. That's your sign of success. Regular composting is fast and hot, ideal for bacteria and quick breakdown. But your garden soil needs fungal-dominant organic matter, especially if you grow perennials, fruit trees, herbs, or want long-term soil structure. Here's what makes this method different. It doesn't destroy fungal spores through heat. It mimics natural forest floor conditions. It builds humus slowly, exactly what fungi prefer. It establishes fungal networks before you even add it to the soil. When you apply this fungal-rich manure around your garden beds, you're not just feeding your plants, you're implanting living fungal colonies that keep working underground for months. Once your manure mixture looks alive with white threads, it's ready. Here's how to use it like a fungal supercharger. 1. Side dress perennial beds. Apply a thin layer around fruit trees, berry bushes, and herb beds. Lightly rake it in, but do not disturb the soil too much. Fungi hate disturbance. 2. Use as a living mulch. Instead of dead mulches that block air, spread this living manure mix as a thin fungal mulch. As it decays, it wakes up dormant soil spores and spreads fungal networks deeper. 3. Brew a fungal activation tea. Take a handful, swirl it gently in non-chlorinated water for a few minutes, and pour around plant roots. This acts like a fungal probiotic drink for your soil. Once applied, watch for these magical soil transitions. Soil becomes darker and more crumbly. You spot white threads when you lift mulch or dig lightly. Water infiltration improves. No more runoff. Plants look more hydrated even with less watering. Pest and disease pressure starts dropping naturally. Fungal soils have something bacterial soils don't: resilience. Once that web of life connects your soil, it buffers against heat, drought, sudden rainfall, and nutrient loss. Bonus trick here: feed fungi, not just add them. Once your fungi are awake, keep them fed. Here are their favorite foods: leaf mold, shredded wood chips. Make sure they're small, not chunky. Old straw, but not fresh green hay. Diluted molasses water about once a month, and a sprinkle of rock dust or biochar for structure. Think of it like this: bacteria eat sugars, fungi eat wood. If you give your soil only soft greens and kitchen scraps, you're favoring bacteria. But introduce structured carbon like aged straw or leaf mold, and fungi flourish. What most gardeners get wrong, often without even realizing it, is this. Many well-meaning gardeners unknowingly sabotage fungal life by digging or tilling too often, applying synthetic or salt-heavy fertilizers, leaving soil exposed to the sun, which, by the way, kills surface fungal filaments, and using only quick compost instead of slow fungal humus builders. Once you understand fungi, you start to garden differently. You become less of a plant feeder and more of a soil shepherd. Go into the woods and move the leaf layer. What do you see? Threads of white fungal life weaving through moist, rich earth. Nobody tills it, nobody fertilizes it, and yet it thrives endlessly. This forgotten manure trick isn't just a technique, it's a mindset shift. It's about mimicking nature's quiet processes rather than fighting against them with constant interventions. Let the fungi do the heavy lifting. Wake them up, and your soil will reward you with life, structure, and unstoppable plant growth. If you found this guide helpful and want more secret soil revival techniques like this, make sure to subscribe to Soil Sage Chronicles and share this with a fellow gardener who loves real, living soil. Let's bring wisdom back into gardening, one fungal strand at a time.